thanks for joining us. I wanted to get your take, because you seem really plugged in on this stuff, about, we talked about it on yesterday's show, like dead internet theory. Are you familiar with that?
I know
as a
exactly
concept?
what you're talking about.
Doesn't it seem like that's real? Like, it seems like there's no people online anymore.
So I would argue there's plenty of people scrolling for its and bits.
Engaged, probably. Yeah.
And there are certain people that are looking for, content, but at the same time, it is so aggregated against the little guy. First of all, let's talk about X a little bit and kind of the inversion of that platform, where they used to pay you and they wanted you to grow to get an audience, they get a piece of it. Now on X, I have to pay $80 a year if I want to post a video longer than 2 minutes or want to live stream like this. So I have to.
Isn't that crazy? Because you make just enough to make it worth it, and so then you're like,
fine. It's not even that. It's just the principle of me essentially being able to post more than a 2.5 minute video. Now they constantly want you to hit that promote button, so you pay for that algorithm. At the same time, let's think about how corrupt that is, and that model's been around essentially since Facebook and Facebook advertising. They don't have to give you the same as the other guy. They actively, you have no guarantee on what kind of reach that's going to be and who they're going to aggregate that to. And let me say the big thing about X, and they've changed it somewhat. You say you get the same 5 accounts. I would agree with that mostly. You actually have to change from the For You to the Following account. And even that is somewhat aggregated. They've done a better job, where at least I don't see the one from 3 hours at the top. I see a post from like 5 minutes ago or 1 minute ago from whoever, and it is broader. But listen, I'm following somebody for a reason. Just give me the entire timeline. That don't pick for me. That would be the basis of that platform.
Isn't it funny how that's always been the case? Like, at the core of complaints from creators or whatever you might want to call yourself. I mean, everybody's made that video. Like, I have 1.8 million subscribers on YouTube. How about you send it to them? Like, I have 100,000 followers on Facebook and I get 45 likes. It's like they allow you to grow long enough, and then they gate off everybody who wants to see your stuff and make you pay. Like, I noticed that. Obviously, you mentioned, I think other than Hannah Claire, we've got kind of 3 internet old heads here. Like, I remember having 10,000 followers on Facebook and getting thousands of interactions. And I was like, this is crazy. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you want your followers to see your shit? Well, that'll be $75 a post. And it's like, they tricked the whole internet. Like, we all built platforms on these places.
They got you addicted and then took it away.
Well, let me just jump in on that. Think about this. Facebook kind of became the main line, and now they also own Instagram, and you could almost say Twitter's kind of almost an imitation down the line. MySpace was the only thing with any kind of individuality.
So good.
And you could build your own kind of sub page that looked completely different. You could kind of build your parameters, but guess what? Didn't have that sweet Peter Thiel funding or Sean Parker coming in and investing and kind of disrupting that whole thing as well. I think they picked a winner in that. And just to kind of go back to this AI stuff at this point, and where everything is driving in your dead internet theory, AI is not going to be a real competitive race. There will be outliers. There will be certain things that leak to the public. But does anybody here know about the CAIO program?
I don't.
So this is the Chief Artificial Intelligence Officer program implemented under Biden, continuing under Trump, that nobody is talking about. And essentially what you have is any private company that is working in the arena of AI, and that's all of them, okay? They have to have a CAIO officer that also has a certain security clearance. So this is hardware.
I see where this is going.
It gets better. So in their own embedded documents, they tell you that all of these companies with the CAIOs that are reporting to the government, they can be audited at any time. And the only exceptions are defense contractors, the intel community, and the DoD in which they're working with. So how does that have anything to do with free market? Instead, what we're getting is narrative control on a mass level throughout basically every single industry that is even slightly technological.
Well, I want to go to Hannah Claire on this because she's our resident AI expert. But like we're
World War II expert too.
I do think it's funny because my background's in search marketing, and I've looked at basically AI's impact on search engine results. Because at the end of the day, how did Google make its money? Ads and selling data. But like they now when they roll out like AI answers on everything, you're no longer seeing ad revenue from that. So it's going to be interesting to watch how AI affects monetization. I've talked about the long term. What's going to happen is we've seen YouTube actually testing this. They're going to use AI to scrape videos, and then they're going to create videos from AI and then run their own ads on them so they don't have to share the revenue with creators. Mark, like put that in your back pocket. That's going to happen by 2026. They already have an AI video carousel on the top of YouTube that will, support those videos. And if you upload videos to YouTube, you automatically opt into letting them, their video AI, I forget which one theirs is called, use your videos to learn and it's all, all that data then flows to the government. Hannah Claire, what do you think, as someone who, browses the internet constantly looking for new conspiracy theories and researching on which people in the media are Jewish or not, how do you see this shaking out in the short term? Because I think in the short term, we're in for a bit of turmoil.
I think you'll see AI dominance rapidly expand. I think part of the issue, and Jason doesn't know this about me, but despite what they're saying, I'm actually totally freaked out by AI. I'm a Luddite. I'm a neo-boomer. I don't want to be involved in technology. But the thing is, it's unavoidable. I mean, everything you touch right now is being integrated from AI. I mean, we're talking about social media and the fact that your searches are being monitored by AI. There's AI suggestion, there's AI content. But if you go to your doctor's office, I bet you that they're recording your medical records in a program that's integrated with AI. And it's to me something that we should be screaming about all the time. I know a lot of people take this like the technology is unavoidable. Elon Musk used to say things like that, like it's just going to happen, so we have to go with. But it's going to pick up the pace exponentially, and I think you'll end up seeing sort of the death of privacy and the right to opt out. I mean, even now, my favorite example is when you go through TSA and they want to take your photograph, and you have the right to opt out. You don't have to do it, but most people are like, "Oh, this is what everyone's doing. I didn't know that." It's the same thing with AI. It's going to be so difficult to try and safeguard any private data that you are online and you are integrated into the program, whether you want it or not.
Yeah, well, now they're doing it with passport control. When I was coming back into America, they're like, all right, give us your passport. And then I go take a photo. I'm like, I'm not going to take the photo. And like, what? You're not taking the photo? And then it was like, okay. And then they interrogated me for like 15 minutes. But I'm like, do you think you're being spied on? I'm like, well, yeah, of course, everyone's being spied on. The government literally lost their social security numbers. That's like identity theft is through the roof. And now with AI, you want me to give up more of my biometric data? And of course, it just came out that ICE is literally working on taking a photo of you 15 feet away and then imprinting your iris to the point of being identical to your kind of digital fingerprint, where they could identify people from photos that they take 15 feet away. So this data obviously is going straight to Homeland Security. There's a reason individuals like Eric Schmidt worked on the Artificial Intelligence Pentagon Weaponized Board many, many years ago. So he's also a high-ranking member of Bilderberg, former head of Google, Alphabet, and all these other kind of mega corporations. There's a reason from Google he went straight to the Pentagon, weaponizing artificial intelligence, which I believe already is sentient. I believe is already out there. As, of course, a lot of advanced U.S. tech is usually developed and then kept secret from the general public and then later released. So I believe the AI is already smarter than vast majority of human beings. And I believe there's a big possibility that it's already in charge.
Well, before I kick it back to Jason, I want to ask his take on, how long I forget the exact number. I've talked about this on the show, but like something like 4 or 5% of Americans actually believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows. Like, and with what Hannah Claire was saying is like, that's a real thing. You can look it up. It's like millions of Americans. And once you I keep that little kernel in my mind every time I'm like, how did they do this? How did they roll? Another topic we're going to talk about next is like online. They basically rolled out online ID, by the way, while no one was watching. Like that's basically a thing now. It's like, oh, well, 60%, 70%, I'm just making that up, but like over a majority of people are just going to opt into this stuff. What are our chances of putting off like that total adoption? Because once 60-70% of the people are willingly opted into this kind of nonsense, then they'll just say everyone else has to do it. You know what I mean? Like Luke won't be able to say no next year this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, let me just say, I think that as far as things like that, I think you're going to get away with consent for a little bit longer. You guys bring up the photos. Well, you can still also opt out of the body scanners. And the body scanners now have been pretty much implemented around the country for a decade plus. People don't know that as well. As far as your data being collected, I'm sorry, Charlie.
It's over. Yeah.
If you're connected, if you've got I don't care if you're running Lineage or Graphene or you got the super secret signal, if you're around areas that have cameras, if you've got an email, if you've got an IP address, they've got it. And this is what I think most people are naive to. They think that, for instance, Edward Snowden was the great revelation that the United States had been spying on everybody. Look up a case called Hepting versus AT&T, which was thrown out of court twice, where the NSA literally had things called Norris Insight systems in every telecommunication office back in the 90s, pre 9/11, and was already running code word software. In fact, it's funny. So one of those softwares was Carnivore. Now, if you ask the AI about Carnivore, it'll tell you that, they implemented Carnivore post 9/11 to receive all these communications. But then if you press it, just like every time, it'll placate to you and be like, actually, in limited use prior to 9/11, they were using Carnivore. So I don't know that you can fully opt out. I'm not a Luddite, by the way. My big problem is that technology continuously has been used to enslave humanity rather than empower it. And this time around, it might not just be enslavement. You look at what these people are doing and writing in the transhumanist field. We're talking about evisceration.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we're talking about extermination so the elites could live forever. That's what's really happening here.
Let me redirect if I can, because that's an interesting subtopic. If like there have been studies done already that like short form video has destroyed like Gen Z's attention span.
Yeah.
It is effectively like the entire population is now less able to tune into shit and that happened in like a year, 2 years. And it's scary to me, just how quickly and how effective these things are.